What's going on? What's going on? Sitting here right now with my guy. It's a late night. I don't even know. Today's Tuesday, I think. It's a beautiful day though.
Going up on a Tuesday.
What's going on, my brother? What's going on, Rob Scott? What's going on in the world of Rob's 2 cents?
Lord Jesus, I'm tired right now, man. You know,
Really?
on a professional note, your boy been doing some big things with World Business Chicago, the company I work with. You know, we did a couple little activations on in the Wrigley building downtown,
Yes, sir.
Mag Mile, and now we just opened up the Chicago Food Stop at the John Hancock building. So my people in Chicago, go check it out. Everybody know when you come to Chicago, you coming for one thing. You coming to eat. You know, this is the food capital of the city, baby. So I've been doing some big things behind the city, but I am never too far from Bullsheet. My boy Mike Hughes, what's going on with you?
Yes, sir. We just finished our finals. I think I passed all my classes. I
My
think
boy.
think so. I have no idea, but I think I did pretty well, man. It was a great day. I got work in 2 hours, so we'll see how that goes. But nonetheless, we're here talking bullshit, everything
All
Chicago
day.
Bulls related podcast brought to you by the amazing Rob Scott of Rob's 2 cents, Mike Hughes, myself from the All Sports All Plays Network. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys always being here supporting bullshit. Really quickly, I want to get this one out of the way. We're going to touch on it very briefly. I said we're going to say it till it's backwards, and it's finally backwards. Free BG. BG is finally free. Shout out Brittany Griner and her family and friends and everybody that went into. Not going to get too political on this show. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of different feelings, but at the end of the day, a good friend of mine and a good friend to many individuals throughout the NBA and the WNBA is finally home. Very long overdue, over 290 days. Just want to give a quick shout out to BG really quickly. Can't wait to see her this season. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to her. We'll get to talk to her, see what's up, see what's new, and what her plans are moving forward. But Rob Scott, more importantly, we repping the beanies. We had to talk about it. We had to talk about our sponsors really quickly. Shout out Bench Mob Chicago, one of the best Chicago Bulls fan pages in all of the game. They make amazing merch, hoodies, t-shirts, beanies, hats, everything you see Rob Scott and I wear all the time. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's super exciting, and I love every single minute of it. Rob Scott and I have been partnering with them for about a year and some change now. And it's just so much fun to really see them be able to do their thing. But it's a beautiful time nonetheless. You can find them on Bench Mob Chicago. I don't know what just happened to Rob. I think Rob's laptop died, but we're gonna stay still. We're gonna stay still, and we're gonna keep rocking and rolling because we know he's coming back. Really quickly, my brother from another mother, Mo's Plumbing Services, professional plumbing services, might I add. You could always check out Mo's professional plumbing services in the Chicago area and the Chicago suburban area. He does everything from pipe fitting to welding to everything you could potentially even imagine. His number is 773-332-5755. Again, that is 773-332-5755 for every single thing you could ask for. That is professional plumbing services. Mo, the greatest of all time, the greatest guy I've ever worked with, one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. We got my guy Javi in here. We appreciate you being in here, my brother. We always love you having in. We're gonna wait for Rob. Before we kick everything off. We really don't got too much else to talk about until we really got into these games, really talking about the Bulls versus Mavericks, the Bulls versus Hawks, and everything else that's been going on. I got no idea where my boy went, but we're going to keep rocking. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to answer some questions right now. I see somebody in the comments right now already asking, how do you feel about Zach LaVine? I know how Rob Scott feels, but I won't speak for him too much right now. But personally, myself, I do truly think the Zach LaVine experiment is dwindling. I think that's a conversation that we're starting to see. Hey, listen, I need you to start to take that next step. I need you to start to actually, be that guy we just paid a max contract to. That is one of the things that infuriate me the most. And I said this time and time again, and I will continue to reiterate it. I felt like it should have been a sign and trade deal. I felt like whether you believe in Donovan Mitchell, the Spider, or not, there's a lot of different ways we could have went with that during the offseason, trading for Anthony Davis, trading for, there was the Kevin Durant rumors. There's so many different rumors that were going around at the time, and we didn't end up using any of them. We just kept Zach, and that's perfectly fine. I love Zach. The person, I love Zach as a human, as a player. I think he's great. But $200 million next to his name for just an all-star level performance. I think, that's what the market is today. Obviously, there's guys like Michael Porter Jr., there's guys like Andrew Wiggins, there's guys like Jordan Poole who are getting this money and really not living up to that kind of contract that you're traditionally used to. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy for me to sit here right now and expect Zach LaVine within one season to become the next Giannis or to become the next Luka or KD or something along those lines, or the next Steph Curry. That's definitely not in the realm of possibilities, but it's definitely something right now where you need to be able to see him step up. You need to be able to see him be the best version of himself possible. We can't have games where you're averaging 15 to 17 points. My guy Rob Scott heard me talking shit about Zach LaVine, and here he comes, coming right back at it.
Damn, I don't know what in the haberdashery just happened to my internet. It said, Lord Jesus. That's why you
Oh, Rob.
know. I'm back though, but I'm glad BG is free for real.
100%, 100%. Rob, we had a
Am I
question
having problems?
pulling in here. I don't know why your thing is tweaking right now. We cannot see the beautiful Rob Scott, but we're gonna get him back. We're gonna get him back really quick. I'm gonna pull him out, pull him back in. We'll see. There he is. There he is. But somebody asked how we feel about Zach LaVine right now, and I was just kind of talking about the contract that went into it. Obviously, that's today's market. I know you're a much bigger contract and financial guy than I am. But basically, I was just saying, guys like Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, MPJ, guys like that, that's the market. That's the market now. And we just haven't really been able to see that from him so far. So how do you feel about Zach LaVine, Rob?
What the fuck is going on with my shit?
Hold on. We're going to try to get Rob back in here. Rob Scott is having technical difficulties tonight, but he's back. He's back and he's better. Rob, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm back on my internet now. My bad. I was switching back.
No, it's all good. We were just talking about Zach LaVine and how
Yeah, I
you really
know.
feel about that.
Zach LaVine, man. Overpaid. I've been screaming that when I saw the Bulls get that man that multi-year contract for $230 million. I said, you got to be out of your mind to get Zach LaVine. Now, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. The man has made an all-star appearance. The man has won a dunk contest. But has he really shown you enough that you're going to pay this man a multi-year deal? So you basically telling him, you're our guy. We're riding with you. And unfortunately, he's taking that to his head because he thinks he's 1A when really it should be DeMar.
100%, 100%. You know what? I was at the Dallas game
Okay.
with someone from school, and we were talking about it. We were having a conversation, and we were kind of like, listen, like if you had to right now, are you trading DeMar or are you trading Zach? What do you
I'm
think?
trading. I get the argument. I get the
See, I
argument.
like this so because that's I was like,
I,
fuck, like I don't
I get
know.
the argument. So the argument is you can't get rid of Zach right now
Right.
without the Bulls wanting to receive some type of compensation for this $230 million that they just gave this man. I don't know how much of it guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it is guaranteed.
100%.
So you're talking now. You have and I don't want people to get me wrong. DeMar DeRozan is not expendable, but in
Right.
the way he is. So because even I was just talking about this with my mentor earlier. DeMar DeRozan has lost a step.
100%.
He's lost a step. He's not as quick as he was. Now, don't get me wrong. He's averaging 26 this year, but last year he averaged 27. And it's amazing what those extra half percentages of points can do. Because that means he had certain games where he just went berserk. And
Right.
we know what DeMar DeRozan is capable of. But if you're trying to rebuild your roster, you do look at DeMar DeRozan as an option for the trading block. So I will leave it at that. He's optional, but he's not my first option
Right.
to
See,
trade.
my thing in this conversation and why it was Zach is what are you looking to do? Because I feel like right now we're a couple guys away from needing to be in a full-blown rebuild again. That's just how I truly feel. Like that's if Lonzo Ball never plays again in the Chicago Bulls uniform, which God forbid, we all know we're hoping to see him very soon.
Yeah.
Let's say, God forbid, something happens to Zach LaVine, Rob. I'm looking at DeMar, who's 33, and Patrick Williams is the future of the franchise. And I'm kind of like, like it is what it is. We've seen Ayo Dosunmu take a step back. We've seen a bunch of guys taking a step back. Dragic, Drummond, obviously, those are expiring deals. We have Vooch as an expiring deal. We have so many guys who we just kind of look at and we go, listen, are you going to be a part of this when the championship series potentially rises at some
Right,
point during life? Because
right.
the Bulls have to fucking get back to the finals at some point. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, but it's definitely going to be at some point in life. Those motherfuckers will be back. But in all seriousness, I think you get so much more for Zach, and that's the problem right now. Is what you're gonna get for Zach is going to be time consuming. That's going to be
Yeah,
draft picks. That's going to be draft compensation. It's going to be probably a couple nice pieces like a young SGA, not a current SGA, but obviously like a Josh Giddey, a very young Josh Giddey, something
yeah.
like
Because I was
that.
about to say SGA right now. If I'm
Yeah, you ain't getting.
OKC, I
Yeah,
found him.
yeah, you ain't getting that. You ain't
I
getting that
found
at
him.
all. Yeah. No, not at all. But I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. So it's definitely something I think, when you look at it for what it is, Rob, let's say we get all this draft compensation for Zach. Is DeMar going to be there, and is DeMar going to be the same level he is now by the time those guys fully develop? And what is the key word right there, Rob? Development. We do not develop shit. I could not. The Chicago Bulls could not develop Luka Doncic at this point in time. I think Luka
No,
would take a step back. I'm not even kidding. I think
no.
they're that bad. I mean, you're looking at the Golden State Warriors who could develop a wooden fucking chair. I mean, that's just what it is.
At least set a solid screen.
Oh, 100%. I mean, come on. Come on. The pick and roll. Hey, I bet you the chair doesn't get beaten the pick and roll like Vooch
Yeah,
has lately.
yeah.
But I think
And to that point, that's why I tell people when I say that I rock with Draymond Green and his style of play. I know that style of play only works with the Warriors, but that talks to the development that the Warriors do to players. And as you see, they're the complete opposite. Like players leave the Warriors and they kind of have a downward spiral, as opposed to players leave the Bulls and all of a sudden you're like, I didn't know Laurie Marketing can do that. You know,
right,
it's like I didn't know Tyson Chandler can go out here and be a missing piece in a championship team. You know,
right.
it's crazy what you see from the Chicago Bulls organization when it comes to player development. I'm honestly right now if Demar is not interested in signing, a year, signing a 2-year deal, I'm not giving him anything long term after this
Right.
contract is up. I mean, and as far as Zach LaVine go, I'm just, the Bulls kind of stuck with him until you can get to that option year.
Mhm.
And Frankie, I'm cool with being regular Rob. I hide behind the rafters. I make the
100%.
moves you don't see.
100%. 100%. 100%. My guy John in here said Rob 2 dub.
Yes,
100%.
Lord.
That's the guy. Right now, the Warriors getting their ass beat by the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm gonna just lay that out there right now. That's a
Hey,
little crazy.
I know I saw it, but Milwaukee healthy. I don't
Milwaukee's
think
real.
any team want to see a healthy Milwaukee. They're too long. They're too long, and then they're too defensively sound.
Mhm.
They're
It
defensively
is.
sound.
It's not even that for me too. You look at out of the four guys, not named Christian Middleton. They got four guys. They got Brooke Lopez. They got what's the other kid's name? He always
Bobby
leaves my mind.
Portis.
Bobby Portis. Man,
Yeah.
I don't know how I slipped on Bobby like that. Bobby, my dog too.
No,
Bobby's
Bobby reminds me of a. I hate to say it because I don't mean any disrespect of it,
he's
but
about to say some
he's
disrespectful
like a
shit.
Walmart KG
Oh no. I mean,
because he's
yeah,
not
though,
as
yeah.
skilled as KG is, but he brings that energy, that
Right.
anger, that
Oh man, let
aggressiveness
me
to the
tell you.
court.
I knew where we were as a franchise and as an organization when Bobby smacked the fuck out of Nico and they fired Bobby for it. I was like, bro, what?
And to my point, what did Bobby go do? He went to Milwaukee and won the
Hmm.
ring. That's
And he
all I'm
won a
saying.
ring. And that's all. And that's why when Milwaukee went to that finals, bro, you already know how I was rocking. I was rooting for D Book and CP3 for a while.
Yeah,
And then once I saw Bobby get in there, I was like, yo, I'm sorry. And the Lopez brother, it's always family love. We got mad love. Robin spent a lot of time here. So
yeah.
I mean, you gotta show support for your guys. But in all seriousness, Rob, you look at it for what it is, and you start to understand like this roster. Man, like I felt like when you first start dating someone and like it's beautiful and shit's perfect and shit is sweet and you're like, man, this is the greatest girl I've ever met in my life. Everything's amazing. Everything's exactly what it should be. And I don't think it's us first the world. It's us
Yeah.
first the world. Then you fast forward some months and you look back at it and be like, that time right there, that time period will always be magic. But what it really was dog shit. And
Yeah.
that's what it is right now. Like you had we had that magical moment last fall, where the
The
Bulls looked
honeymoon
amazing.
stage.
It was perfect. It was without any problems. We were like, man, this is sweet. Shit is sweet. We love
Yeah.
this. Like
Yeah.
I could do this all day. Zach's getting an extension. I'm gonna rub his toes after every game. I'm gonna give him a massage. It's gonna be beautiful.
You say,
And
baby, you got enough in your cup?
now I'm like, don't even look at me, dog. Don't even look at me after a game. I'm gonna smack the fuck out of you. Like
Babe, what time you coming home when I get there?
when I get there, I don't know. I don't know. But that's really what it is, Joe. And that's like one of the craziest things to me, man, is like we're sitting here and we're having this conversation not even a year later. I mean, I remember I was at the last legitimate good Bulls game. I remember I was there with my boy Robbie. We went, it was me, him, I forgot who else went, but we saw LaMelo versus Lonzo, and it was the greatest performance I've seen from a Bulls team in years, and I just loved every single minute of it. I was also there when Patrick Williams broke his damn wrist, but Joakim Noah, and D Rose and Tibbs and Taj were all
Yeah.
there too. So it was a good night nonetheless. So I
Yeah.
really
Oh,
didn't give a.
speaking of that, have you heard the rumors?
I've heard the rumors, but I want you to speak on it.
They say my boy might come home.
I don't
Now,
think.
I'm not saying he's gonna come and change life for us. This is more of a heart note, a
Mhm.
heartfelt sentiment. And I would just love if he's gonna retire, he should retire here.
100%.
Because I feel like everybody slept on D Rose. A lot of people, they don't realize what he meant to the city. So
Right.
he might not be your Hall of Famer.
He's my
He
home.
might not be your greatest player ever, and it's to our audience. I know how you feel about him, Mike. You
100%.
D Rose all day,
100%.
and but to us in
Mm.
Chicago, because he's homebred and home fed,
He's hanging in the rafters.
he's our MVP. Because what he did was he did what Mike was just alluding to with this
Rob
honeymoon
Scott.
phase. He bought us hope. We were like, Lord Jesus, we got a
Yes,
chance.
sir. Man, I'll tell you something right now, and it's not, man. See, like I can't even talk about it. Never mind. Never mind. But I was gonna talk about it, but I'll cry. But
I understand though, because like to me, I shed a tear when he
yeah,
when he scored that 50 something points from
I
Minnesota
cried.
after dude, I shed a tear. I was like, my boy wrote like this is to all y'all haters. That man still arose from the concrete, baby.
No, 100%. And I could
What's up,
try.
Delay?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, Rob. But man, when I coach these kids, man, and I've been coaching for about a year now,
Yeah,
it changes everything to me to be able to say, like, listen, like here's your guys. Here's your guys that you're gonna look forward to, that come from your neighborhoods. And there's so many guys I've coached from the south side, the west side of Chicago, and
yeah.
myself growing up. I grew up on the north side, but we all knew how I got down. I was always all over the
Hey,
place. I
but
was
you know
always all
what?
over the
Hey,
place.
hey, hey, quiet as kept. The north side ain't south either now.
Hey,
Ain't
it ain't
I,
so.
ain't
I'm
no
just saying. I'm just saying I wasn't up there. I was always everywhere
yeah,
else. But
yeah.
in all seriousness, it's doing shit I shouldn't have. Little hood rat shit. But in all seriousness, man, like you look at these guys and you look at Essex and Eset, pardon me, and other places on the east side. You look at
Yeah.
G Herbo. You look at 79th Street. You look at Chance the Rapper. You look at I forgot where Kanye's from, but he's from around the
He's from
south.
the south side. Yeah,
Yeah,
he say what he said in the song, my mama used to stay on 79th and May,
hundred
southeast side.
percent.
So you
Come
know
on,
what
Rob, talk to him, baby.
I'm
But nah, then you look at O Block and you look at Dirk and you look at Vaughn and you look at all these guys and like it's so, you got to become this, or you got to be this way. You got to dress this way. You got to look this way. You got to talk this way. But a guy like Derrick Rose, who was the complete opposite of the stereotype of what a guy from Inglewood really is. I mean, he is just a quiet guy who goes about his business and just hoops for real. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the rose to the concrete that rose. No jokes, all jokes aside, but I mean, it's something that I really just preach to kids is like, listen, it don't matter where you come from. You just stick your head in the ground and you just keep running and you just
Yes,
keep
Lord.
going. And, that for me, I don't care what anybody says. First of all, a fact, not a hypothetical. This is a fact. Not a single MVP ever missed the Hall of Fame. Every single
Mm.
MVP that's ever won an NBA title, not NBA title, an NBA MVP, or better known as the Michael Jeffrey Jordan Award.
You
Shout out.
better talk to him, Mike.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. LeBron who? I don't want to hear it.
Who?
MB fucking P. Who? Yeah. But in
I'm
all
glad they
seriousness,
named it after the GOAT too. But
oh,
you know, keep
100%. You
continue,
had
sir.
to.
Continue, sir. Sorry about that.
You had to. My fault. My fault. But in all seriousness, I look at D Rose, man, the youngest MVP ever. And it's just a conversation. You have to look at it for what it is and what he meant to the city, putting Chicago back on the map for over a decade of shitty basketball, of Kirk Heinrich and company kind of doing their thing before he came in. I mean, Jalen Rose was the last great Rose to ever wear a uniform in the NBA before the great Derrick Rose came into the cut. So shout out Jalen, but come on, bro, you ain't the greatest Rose to ever wear a Bulls jersey. Come
And,
on now.
and you talking facts, man, because you know us real Chicagoans, we stuck through them hard days. I remember the Luol Danes, the Chris Duhans, the Ben
Mm-hmm.
Gordons, you know, before he was stabbing people. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. No, wait, nah, because can we have a podcast about that one day, bro? Like, what the fuck is going
I'm
on
like,
with
what
Ben
happened to
Gordon?
Ben? What happened to Ben? I don't
Dude,
know.
I
I'm
was
like,
I was nah, G, because I saw on Twitter the other day. It was like a month ago or something. It wasn't the other day.
oh,
It was like, oh, here's a video of Ben Gordon and his son. And I was like, oh, that's cool. He goes, here's a
right.
video of Ben Gordon beating the shit out of his son in the airport. And I was
I
like,
said, Lord, dude, you know, you heard about what happened at the Rock and Roll McDonald's. It was like,
man, like if he didn't take embodying a Chicagoan to heart, I don't know what he did. That man went a little too far south for me, but
hey, I don't know what being on, but you know, I remember them days. I remember
they were
the
tragic, man.
it was real
It was
tragic. The Eddie
rough.
Curry days.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Jesus. I mean, we used to have a guy on our team named Sweetly or Sweetly. I mean, I did
Oh,
just trash.
but
I was
the point of that being, like to me, youngest MVP ever. Fuck that. Like, let's not even talk about that. But what you meant for not only Chicago but basketball anywhere. You look at the story of Derrick Rose and how that continued. I personally would have wished. This is my personal opinion. I feel like if he would have won at least one sixth man of the year, I think he would have been in the Hall undoubtedly. I think it's going to be a little bit harder if he doesn't have that achievement. But I want to ask you this before we get off that topic. The homecoming of Derrick Rose, that right to me, if it's right now, like let's say at the deadline we trade with him for the Knicks, what they want, I would imagine it's like Kobe White or something, just expiring deal, whatever it may be, get him off the books. Now you have a young number seven
I
overall
know, I know.
talent, which whatever. But um, in all seriousness, that kind of shows the end of Derrick Rose. And I don't think he wins a championship here before he retires. So do you think he'd rather go, let's say, to the Milwaukee Bucks, the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, somewhere along those lines, or even, someone, I was just talking to someone before this, talking about potentially going to Miami because Kyle Lowry, fat ass, can't do shit over there. But in all seriousness, I think him coming right now is too soon. I think it looks more like a one-day contract kind of thing, kind of
Yeah.
like a Joakim Noah, more so than playing a legitimate season. Because, I mean, I don't know if you've been watching that man, and this isn't for Rob Scott. This is the audience. I mean,
Yeah.
that man's got a lot more left in the tank, and the New York Knicks are just sorry as hell, and that's what that is. So, I think right now it's a disservice for me to say I want Derrick Rose back in the Chicago Bulls uniform. At some point, yes, Lord, please, I'm gonna be the first one outside the ticket booth trying to get my ticket punched. But it's definitely something right now where I'm like, nah, bro, like you got work to do, and I'm all power to Tibbs, all respect to Tibbs, but get the fuck away from that man. Go get you a ring.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I want to say this without sounding bogus. I don't really think he cares about that.
You see,
I think
Derek.
if yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think
I don't I
that's
don't
that's
think
my problem, bro. Is I think
I
he
don't
really
think he
doesn't.
cares about it. I'm not saying he doesn't want to win a ring, but to him,
It's natural. It needs to come natural.
if he has a chance to come back to Chicago and fences have been mended, remember, how he left the first time.
Right,
He got a call and was completely shocked. I mean, the man
right.
admitted through
Now,
countless
but
interviews
do
he's
you think do
he's
you think
cried.
with Garpax gone, that's different?
I think he just needed time to heal.
Right.
I think he really needed to understand that the NBA is a business, and
Mm,
we understand that you're from Chicago and your heart is in Chicago. But at this point, dude, you were just facing an ACL tear, then you tore your MCL. You couldn't play.
right.
We are looking to the future now. We have to be able to
And
compete.
Rob,
And I understand both aspects of it, but
what did we get for Derrick Rose again?
nothing. We
Uh,
got squat.
we were looking towards the future and just went
we,
backwards. Like what the
we
fuck?
we we got squat, but I still at the same
It
time
made sense.
understand where the organization was coming from. So
What the worst thing to me, bro.
I
Let's
would
talk,
love to see him back home though.
let's talk about it, Rob.
I would love to see him back home.
Not even that. Not even that. We got two things I want to talk about.
Okay,
One,
let's talk.
shout out Megan Price, potentially teaming up with
Appreciate you,
Luca.
Megs.
Potentially teaming up with her Mavs and Luca. I mean, I think that's one of the most interesting conversations right now. I would love to see that because I'll tell you what, Rob, I was at the game. I was at the game where I paid all that money to see Luca play,
Yeah.
and he hoed me with a quad strain. And then the next night
Well, yeah.
plays Rob
Since
and
he did the
drops
first thing.
38 fucking points in the
Yeah.
game of the year against SGA, who dropped a career like what 42 points,
Yeah.
something crazy.
Oh, I get it. Now I was blessed enough. It wasn't Luca in the real life setting, but I went to the rookie All-Star game when it was in Chicago.
Right.
So I got to see Zion, I got to see Ja, I got to
That's
see
crazy.
Luca,
That's a class.
Trey. I got to see them boys up close and personal. And
Bro,
let me
that's a
tell you
class.
something. Luca is believe the hype.
Right. No, I've
Believe the
saw
hype.
him.
Everybody know. I know you know. And I'm mad for you because when you told me you was going to the game, I looked, I was like, I don't know if Luca gonna play tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was placing my bet. So I was like, the Bulls might
As
have
you
a
should.
chance
As
tonight.
you should.
I was like, the Bulls might actually have a
Also,
chance.
shout out to the Detroit Lions for fucking up my ticket. But
Oh
whatever.
Lord Jesus.
Whatever.
But honestly, if Derek went to go play with Luca, I'm not saying that's the worst thing in the world, but
Right.
to me, that doesn't help Luca.
I
Dallas,
don't. It's
Dallas is
literally
not Dallas is not doing anything unless they get some defenders.
right. And I
They
think
need
that's one of the biggest things right now is you look at it for what it is at Derek's point in time. I think it's definitely just going to be a conversation of like trying to utilize him to the best version you can. I don't think you're going to get true holiday to Milwaukee type Derrick Rose numbers. Like it's not going to be to that extent. It's going to be a literal role player. And I think that's the unfortunate circumstance is whatever championship team he's on, I don't truly see him being that everyday guy in the playoffs who's going to go crazy. Now, I do think if he were to go to the finals, there's one game, there's one vintage Derrick Rose game. I don't know,
for sure.
not
I
no
think he
dunk,
got a
nothing
couple. I
crazy.
think he got a couple of those games
I
left
think
in him.
so
I
too.
think with Derrick Rose now, his heart has to be in it, and
Right.
that's why I say coming to the Bulls would be so good for him. It'll almost be therapeutic.
My fault,
He,
Megs.
he's coming back home.
Forgot.
And it's not even a Bulls thing, it's coming back to Chicago thing. So, I think that
Love
with
Megan
him,
Price.
if he gets a chance to come back home, he'll be
Mhm.
so reinvigorated. He'll be so, refueled, refocused. I actually think him and DeMar might actually try to do something. I think if
Right.
he comes to Chicago, you might see the best that D Rose has to
Right.
offer.
See, here's how I see it though. Yeah,
Yeah,
be
let's
real.
talk.
I think it's fucked up no matter what way you do it because I think you look at Rose and at this point he's going to the paint. Easy.
Okay.
He's going to the paint. And he's a 3-point shooter, I guess you could say, but he's
He's
still
a
not.
better he's a
He's a
better shooter.
better
Let's say
3-point
that.
shooter.
He's a
Right.
better
I
shooter.
would,
Yeah.
I would, I don't know what I'd categorize Derrick Rose at this point right now. He's
Yeah.
definitely, he's going to the bucket. He's going to the basket 100%. You got Zach going to the basket. Zach's a solid 3-point shooter. I'll give him that. But he doesn't want to 100% of the time. So then you look at DeMar, who's slashing in. You look at Vooch, who's just going to be sitting in the middle. And then Pat,
Pat is Pat.
that Pat is just cooling,
Pat
I
is Pat.
guess.
It's just side note. I've been screaming this for a while now since we had the bullshit in production.
Yeah.
And I'll keep saying this until somebody answer me this question. Why the hell are we not looking at Dwight Howard? Why the hell is Dwight Howard playing overseas? I get he got a deal overseas. You think if the NBA offered that man a contract, China wouldn't understand?
I don't think. I mean,
That's all I'm saying.
I think they'd have to buy him out, but I don't know how
they'll buy him out, and then okay. But my thing is, Patrick Williams is trash. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what,
he
Rob,
shows me otherwise.
really quick though. I will say this: being at that Dallas game, I saw Drummond healthy doing his thing.
Oh, Drummond went,
and I was like, that's why you don't have Dwight Howard. That right there.
But I felt like Dwight. I'm not looking for a center that can score. If Dwight can give us 10, that's fine. I know Dwight is going to give me a consistent 8 rebounds, and I know I'm going to get a consistent 2 block shots every game. And it's going to be tough. Even the blocks that are not counted, he's there with deflections. He's there just to put a hand in your face. Vucevic don't have it. I'm sorry. No. I like Vooch when he was with Orlando. Vooch is also a step slower, and Vooch is playing too much on the perimeter for me.
Right.
And Patrick Williams, you're there to be a defender, yet you don't defend a goddamn thing. I'm sorry, excuse my language, ladies and gentlemen. You don't defend ish. And my problem is, you have a legitimate big man, a guy who's a 3-time defensive player of the year, a guy who almost single-handedly took a bunch of shooters to the finals, beat LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know who was on that team? Jameer Nelson. What's my boy? Rashid? Rashad? Yeah. I had some killers on that. I mean,
he was Rashad.
Just a bunch of shooters.
Right.
He had Peaches. He had a bunch of almost nobodies. I'm sorry. Sorry.
100%.
And he took these guys to the finals.
Right.
Almost could have won MVP and at least won one game against Kobe. So, not just a regular Kobe, a determined Kobe.
Pissed off Kobe.
Who gentlemen swept him because he was mad that Boston won in the finals, who again saw Boston that next year and beat them in 7. So that's what I'm saying, man.
I want to go back. I want to go back because I was rocking with it. I was rocking with our
Rashad Evans. I'm sorry. There you go. I knew it was gonna come to
you. I knew you had it in you. I knew you had it
Evans, in you. Michael Peaches. I remember all of them.
I couldn't remember that man.
Vito Turgaloo. I remember all of them.
But right now, Rob, I want to dissect one last D Rose topic before we get in.
Let's go, man. I'm having fun with this, man.
Worst team he ever been a part of, in your opinion? I'm gonna say mine. The triangle offense with Derrick Rose, Phil Jackson. You had Kristaps Porzingis and Carmelo Anthony.
Oh my God!
To me, when I read his book, I read all about that, and just hearing him write about that, I know it was like respect to Phil, but he kept certain parts out. I know he kept certain opinions out because he's probably like, "What the fuck are we doing with this?" Like. That to me was like the weirdest D Rose team because I actually like, and me and you talked about this. I think one time, when we first started talking, a couple years back, we started. Dang, that's crazy. A couple years back, we started.
For a while, my brother.
We've been in this a minute. You
my brother.
Oh God, I think I really thought. If all of them could have lined up at the same time, let's say Derrick Rose fast forwarded a couple years to what he kind of was with the Pistons or what he kind of was when he first came to the Knicks. You look at that Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins team. I thought they were, and then you on top of that, a Derrick Rose with Tibbs coaching. I thought that was a nice squad. you just had a couple of asshole young kids in there who weren't really ready to be those dudes.
Yeah.
And you also had a Jimmy Butler who didn't really understand his personnel and was talking to guys crazy. When I get where Jimmy's coming from, it's that Mamba mentality kind of aspect towards it. I ain't saying Jimmy's got Mamba mentality. I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
being an
Oh no, I
asshole.
get you because I've been
Yeah,
telling people all the time now. We got to stop saying mama mentality. It was only one
100%.
person that had that mentality.
Right. But the conversation of it is
But I
like,
get
yo,
what you're saying though.
like
He had
whatever y'all
the
doing,
mindset.
fuck that. Like we're
Yeah.
doing this now. And
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't work with a lot of guys. And I think Jimmy's one of those guys that really doesn't work with, because think about Kobe and what I always felt like, if Kobe didn't fuck with you, hey, listen, he was gonna let you know you were doing it wrong, but he wasn't gonna try to be the leader. He was just gonna let you know, like, you gonna get shipped off. And where Jimmy was like, I felt like Jimmy was like trying to force his way to kind of be that alpha. And it was like, it just, if you're, I don't know how to say it correctly. I'm not trying to say Jimmy ain't that dude, but
Well, what it was is Jimmy has not proved this. I can't even say hadn't. He has not proved himself to take a leadership role like that.
right, still, and
Like Kobe,
especially at that
Kobe
time,
showed who he was.
right,
Like you knew who Kobe was. Like this man single-handedly looked at a team in the Toronto Raptors and said, I don't care who on my team. If it takes for me to score 81 on your tater top, that's what I do, but we ain't losing.
100%.
Jimmy ain't proved himself like that. Don't get me wrong. Jimmy one of them. Jimmy one of them. And I don't want people to really get that mistaken. But at the same time, Jimmy, you ain't him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's different
Like
from
I felt
being one
like,
of them to being him.
right,
When a dude scream, I am him, you gotta know I am him.
right. I even felt like when I really looked at it for what it was in his last years in Chicago, I felt like Dwayne Wade was the captain and the alpha of this team more
He
than Jimmy
was.
Butler was. So
He was.
it was like a weird thing, because I really didn't feel, I felt like Jimmy was kind of like the cool dude when he was in Chicago. Let's be real, he wasn't this guy you see in Miami now, this alpha type guy, this guy who's forcing guys to do 3-4 days, but at the same time doing big face coffee and doing rodeo shit, and he's all over the place. But in all seriousness, Jimmy was kind of just the cool guy that was just hanging around. He was quieter, he wasn't as vocal, and that comes with becoming a leader and a veteran in the game. But the transition was like, what the fuck? Like, we
It went
thought we
from
were getting
to
this.
oh.
Yeah, we thought we were getting this cool ass dude, and you just coming in here bitching about everything, and it was just
Yeah.
kind of like, and then there's Rose just standing there like,
Well,
I'm just
Rose
happy.
had respect for Jimmy because they played
Right.
with each other. So he knew Jimmy.
Did you
Jimmy knew
think,
what it was with D Rose.
let me
You
ask you though, did you think there was any legitimacy? We really ain't even talking about the current Bulls. That's how bad they are. That's how bad they are. We talking about some old shit. But I read in this book, especially too, I keep saying that, but it's an amazing book. If you haven't checked out Derrick Rose's book, definitely buy that joint, because it was
I'm
the
gonna have to
best
check it
read.
out. I'm gonna have to
I'll
check it
send it
out.
to you. I'll send it to you.
I'm gonna check it out. I
Send me the
gotta
Yaddy
get a
after
good
this.
read in right now.
I'll send it to. Well, I gotta send it to your. I
But
gotta
let
send
me.
it to your aunt, right? Because they
Yeah.
be feeling by
Oh
your
yeah.
crib.
Yeah. So you gotta send it to my
Yeah, I gotta
mother-in-law.
send it to the aunt because
Send it to the
yeah.
mother-in-law. You know what I'm
Makes
saying?
sense.
But
Makes sense.
but honestly though, to answer your first question, I have to agree that the Knicks were probably the worst fit
Mm,
because I'm sorry, the triangle is not working unless you have Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. It's the only way it's working because they were the ultimate bailout.
right.
Once everything else fails, get a ball to them, they'll make something happen.
Right.
And not saying D Rose couldn't make nothing happen, but unfortunately, what the people don't really look at is, yeah, as great as D Rose is, as great as Steph Curry is, as great as most of these players, Allen Iverson, all these smaller players, they're still small. You can't teach height, you can't
Right.
teach physical strength.
Well, that
So,
was the problem,
and
Robbie.
that's
Is
the
like,
problem. D Rose is still 6'3",
what do you
6'4".
think about, the fact is, I don't even think it was supposed to be D Rose that you look at as the Jordan or the Kobe. It was
Yeah,
supposed to
but
be Melo, but Melo was
Melo was
never
out for Melo.
right. And
Unfortunately, Melo was always out for Melo. That's why Melo doesn't have a
And
ring.
would you say ooh, that's crazy. You crazy. You right though.
That's
You
why
ain't out of
Melo
pocket.
don't. That's why Melo don't have a ring. I love Melo. Melo is one of my favorite players. I
Would
mean,
you
when
would you say Melo didn't have that level of dog in him though?
no, Melo had dog in him. Melo had he never understood that no matter how great you are, unless you're getting other guys around you to be great,
Right.
you just gonna be a great player on the trash ass team.
Right. And that's how I always felt about Melo. Like Melo was the shit. Don't get it twisted. Syracuse, his days there.
Melo played with JR, he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Bron played with JR, they won. I mean,
100%.
you gotta look at certain
Hey,
things.
but how many times did Bron play with JR and they lost? Come on, Rob. Let's be
I get that, but
a few
also at
times.
the same time,
Nah, I hear
people
you though.
bring up those L's. But the fact is, LeBron made it to 10
No,
damn finals.
100%.
He
100%.
made it to 10 of them. Now, yeah,
100%.
granted, he might have lost 6 of them joints.
I don't think Melo been the one. So
Melo only made it to the Western Conference Finals.
mm-hmm.
And he had to unfortunately meet him. He had to meet Kobe Bryant. And
Right.
Kobe showed no matter how good, even Kobe said, the person that was the hardest to play was Melo. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about a dude who is physically imposing. He's
Right.
6'9". He can use his body. He can shoot the jumper. He can shoot the mid-range. He can shoot the three. He can rebound the ball. Melo just didn't play no damn defense.
Right.
And Melo didn't get nobody else better. He made nobody better. And unfortunately, when you playing against somebody like Kobe also was out for himself, but Kobe started to realize, hey, let me get my guys involved. I'm gonna need a Ron Artest to hit a shot in the corner in a
Right.
game 7. I'm gonna need a Derek Fisher to take one from the top of the key. I'm gonna need a Paul Gasol to be there when I get in the traffic and I need somebody to get a ball out to. Melo never learned that. I don't think Melo cared to learn that. Like
Right.
he
And
had to
that was
understand
that was
in college, you can beat a man. You
you
can go to
remember
Syracuse and score 40 points and still win a championship. That ain't happening in an NBA. Everybody is just as good as
you
you.
remember the Redeem team? I mean, it was a funny
He was the
scene, but
sixth man.
it wasn't even that though. Did you watch the Netflix series
Yeah.
where
Oh my God. I shedded a
so
tear, man, for Kobe.
man,
I shedded a couple tears actually,
oh it
especially when he was holding little Gigi and they were singing him happy birthday.
that shit
Oh
was
my God, I
a
lost it.
beautiful
I
scene.
lost
It was a beautiful scene. But
it.
a scene I remember is the scene where Kobe Bryant's icing his knees. It's like 5 a.m. Everybody's getting back from the club. CP,
Yes,
Bron,
sir.
Mello, everybody else, and they said D Wade, and they said, first it was Kobe, and they were like, "Oh shit, this guy's serious." Then
Mhm.
Bron went in, then Wade went in, then Bosh went in. What did Mello say? He
I
said,
ain't
"I
doing
ain't gonna lie to
man,
you.
bro.
I ain't waking up no early in the morning." But that's the difference. Like that's that dog I'm talking about. Like Melo was based off of God gifted talent, and I
He
feel like
was.
that's why he's a free agent right now.
He
Though is
was,
because
man. I mean, but don't get me wrong. Melo was that.
he
Oh
was
my! I tell you this. I feel like Melo would have won a ring if he would have came here.
100%, and I think
If he
that
would
was
have played with D Rose in his prime, when we had the chance to get Melo, when
mhm,
we was trying to form our own big three to contend with Miami, just because it literally Rose did everything he could to win 1 or 2 games.
100%.
He did everything he could. It was just too much of
Do,
Miami
do you
and not
think
enough. Man,
do
Rose
you
was a
think that
dog,
works?
bro. Man,
Do
we
you
would have
think that
killed with
works
Melo.
though? We win a championship with
Oh,
Melo.
we would have killed. We would have killed because whatever Melo lacked, Rose was gonna make sure everybody else got better.
Hmm.
And we had Luol Dane. Even if we would have got rid of Dane,
We
we
had
still had
Joakim,
we had Joakim Noah, we had Heinrich, we had Taj. We
Boozer,
had enough people defensively to cover what Melo lacked.
right?
The
And remember,
Bulls were one of the best
Boozer at that
defensive teams
time.
at the league.
Boozer at that time was Team USA. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I'm not at that time. We
yeah.
caught Bulls a little later.
No, it was a little
It
later,
was
but
a
he had
little later
already
because
had that
that was
pedigree.
about oh
Like he
07,
was.
oh 08 when he went. Now I wish Utah Boozer would have came over
Oh
here.
man. Oh
Unfortunately,
man.
we got loser
We
Boozer,
got
but
we
it's
got
okay.
hairspray booze. I mean, that shit was rough. That
But
shit was rough.
Utah Boozer was a monster.
hundred
That
percent.
pick and roll with him and Darren Williams, it worked. And honestly, to Boozer's credit, Boozer, I don't think he got enough time with D Rose because when the time he came, Rose was hurt. I think they played like one
Right.
good year together. Rose then was in and out of the lineup, missing more than half the season. I wanted to see how that team would look. With the problem that the Bulls had at that time is we didn't get a good shooting guard.
Mm,
So and now you telling me if we bringing in a Rip Hamilton and we can get somebody like Melo, you don't think we got a chance?
right.
Hell yeah, we got a
Ben
chance.
Gordon and those guys, they were
Yeah,
all right,
because when
but
things went stagnant at that time, the Bulls were too reliant on Derrick Rose to make
right,
shit happen.
right,
So now Rose like, I got help. I got Melo. I can give Melo the ball on the block and say, Melo, go to work. and Melo can
100%.
give you 12 straight going to work. Now you got to double team Melo, and now it's a problem because if you double teaming Melo, you can't double team D Rose. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
On the real, but bro, they should have put me out there as Coach Rob. Coach Rob would have saved the day. Because I'm telling you, man, you got to learn how to play these players correctly, man.
100%.
You
But
know,
Rob, why are we talking about this right now, man? Why are
man,
we
because the
talking
Bulls
about
trash.
no, but exactly though. We 10 years plus later are still talking about Derrick Rose. And that to me is the big conversation right now.
It
It's a
is.
little bit of a transition. Are we going to be talking about Zach LaVine 10 plus years
No,
from now?
no,
And I
no,
think that's one of the questions
no.
right now. This is one of the most confusing eras in basketball, Bulls basketball for me. Because normally we're shit or we're great. And that's what it is. And right now we're in a weird window of like, I
We
look
all
at
right.
this roster and I'm like,
We
this
all
is
right.
yeah, like they remind me, I think we're like the Utah Jazz of the
Yeah,
of the
like
Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell era, where it's like, yo, we're gonna make it, but it's like whatever. Like we know it,
facts.
we know going into the season, like it's a nice roster, but it's not anything crazy. It's not, we're not gonna win a championship with these guys. And I think, Rob, if we end up winning a championship this year, me and you got a lot of explaining to do for the
Dude,
first
if
episode.
we end up winning the championship this year, I'm man enough to go on anybody's
100%.
platform to say I was 1,000, a million
Oh, you
percent wrong.
remember what happened with Pride? Our guy
Yeah.
Pride from Prideful
Oh
Takes. I
man, he
mean,
cut his hair.
dude, the first half
He went
of
from
the
Pride to
Boston
Santiago.
Celtics. But the first, for y'all that don't know, Pride is one of the big. Holy shit! He's one of the biggest. What was I gonna say? I don't even
Biggest Celtics fan out
biggest
there.
Celtics
Oh
fans in the
man.
world.
I
And he
mean,
described the beginning of that Boston season as one of the worst he's seen in years. He was talking about, believing in the hype of splitting up Brown and Tatum. That was the
yeah.
narrative. Not that he put that narrative out there, but that
No,
was
he
the
didn't.
narrative that everybody was speaking about. That was the narrative of, one of them's got to go. They can't coexist.
I know I screamed it and I was
I
completely
screamed
wrong.
it as well. And,
I was
you
like,
know
man,
what,
they can't
though?
play together. I still kind of think they can't play together.
That's why I never really. Where's the ring? Where's the ring,
I
Rob?
still kind of say they can't play together. Hey, but you know what? I don't think it's their fault. It's
I think they
Boston's
both
fault.
show up. I
It's
think they
Boston's fault.
right.
When you keep talking about somebody's going on the trade block, and like
Oh, you seen Jaylen
if
Brown
I'm
on
Jalen
Twitter?
Brown, I got a problem.
Have you seen him on Twitter? Oh,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
likes all the posts. He retweets the shit. Like
I
he
got a
is.
problem with that because it's like, dude, first of all, if and not to get off subject, but if you look at the NBA Finals against the Warriors, I'm just being real. Jaylen Brown was the
He's the
best
better.
person on the court for the
He was
Boston
the
Celtics.
MVP.
I'm just saying.
100%. But I also think, and also Jason Tatum is now an MVP candidate this season.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they
yeah.
take turns, and I think that's fine, but it's the same conversation about Levine and DeRozan. Now, obviously, I don't think either of them is talented than the two other guys we named. I don't think Levine is better than Brown, and I don't think that, obviously, DeMar is better than Tatum, but I think it's close. That's a hot take, but I think it's
Oh,
closer than
oh,
people think.
oh, it's been a couple hot takes tonight. Just
I
keep them
think I
coming.
think
Keep
DeMar's I
them
think
coming,
DeMar's
Lord
kind of
Jesus.
close. I think DeMar's kind of close to Tatum. Show me otherwise. But it's definitely something for me. I think we can have these conversations right now of saying Zach isn't that guy, and then
Yeah.
the second half of the season with Lonzo coming back can completely change things. So we really don't know. But we got about, let's say, 10 more minutes in here. I mean, it's a beautiful day. It's a
Man,
beautiful
Mike,
day.
I've been having such a great time with you. I ain't even watching time, man.
No,
Yeah,
me
it's
neither.
just
I
good.
just looked at it.
It's
I
just
said,
good
golly.
sports conversation, man. And unfortunately, I think right now the Bulls have put themselves in a position where they're gonna be like this for probably like the next 4 years.
100%.
3 to 4 years. You're gonna have
Well,
to
Rob, why? Well,
because you're gonna have to start
let me
breaking
ask you
down the
this.
roster and
Let me ask you
trying to
this.
bring in talent.
Here's my why.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this for the next 3 to 4 years? Why are we? The way I see it, for the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to be trying to cling on to these guys that are slowly going to go. Now, I can already see the branches falling, a couple of them so far. Obviously, Dragic, Drummond, those guys are interchangeable. We're going to see them fall, and guys are going to come and replace them, even though I got love for Drummond. Bench mobber of the night. Shout out Andre Drummond. But, you look at Kobe, probably out the door.
You gotta go out the door.
Patrick Williams,
I'm
if he
trading him
don't
the first chance I get.
if Patrick Williams don't walk out, my foot's gonna be up his ass kicking him out. Like, that's what it is. So
first chance I get, I said, "Oh, who you got on your team with Patrick? I'm sorry, who you say who? Like
kick it like a
Patrick Williams.
flea.
Hey, you just hit it out. Patrick Williams. Was you trying to do a trade?
100%, 100%. Hey, bro, I'll give you picks to take Patrick Williams. God damn. But in all seriousness, we're gonna be looking at this Lonzo, slowly trying to get him back here. And when he does get back here, how long is he going to stay healthy? Because that's been Lonzo's career. You look at Zach, trying to figure out what you have in him. Do you have a top 10, top 15 player in this league? DeMar, as he continues to kind of just digress and just kind of become an NBA vet rather than an NBA MVP candidate, because we were spoiled by that last season. That's not a lie.
We were, and I almost for the benefit of DeMar's sake, because I've gained so much respect for him, seeing him come to the Bulls and seeing the type of player he is. Like, honestly, you used to think like, man, are they giving up against LeBron when he was with the Raptors? But actually seeing him come to the Bulls, like, no, he gives you everything he has.
Right.
Like, he gives you everything he has. It's like he need help. And unfortunately the Bulls haven't done their part to help him out.
Right.
We had a decent roster last year. I think last year
I felt like
I didn't
last
think it
year
was a
was the
championship
year.
roster, but I felt like last year was a statement year. And just for us to go through all those injuries and for Milwaukee to just say, get back down to where you're supposed to be, you bums. I felt that. I felt that in my heart. And now you've seen teams who I thought Boston was going to actually go the opposite way with the whole scandal that's going on with their coach, with the in and out of the lineup with Robert Williams and Al Horford and all that big men. Boston has still yet they've been able to sustain and endure. And I look at the Bulls and I get pissed at that, because I'm like, okay, here we have two guys who on any other team would be one of the better players on that team, and it just for some reason it is not clicking.
Right.
Zach LaVine, you mentioned him not being able to hit threes. Sometimes I feel like he dribbles himself into problems.
Right.
Like, dude, you're open, go to work.
Right.
And he dribbles into the defense.
Do you ever see
I'm like,
man, I don't know how many times I saw that shit with Pat. I see Pat, and it was funny as hell because I'm at this Dallas game. Pat not even getting guarded, Rob. Not even getting guarded.
He's trash, dude. If you can't even get
wide open three,
jump out,
wide open three from the top of the key.
Yeah.
And Pat just like, I'm gonna pass that bitch to Kobe, even though there's 3 dudes on Kobe. Whoop, pass that. I want it. And it's like, man, bro, top 4 pick, and you passing it, you not guarded. Drive in, do something. I mean, jump shot. I don't know. I could just name things. I could name a million things. Dunk it, jump shot, do a little fucking spin. I don't even know. Shoot it.
That's go in close range and knock it. Make them defend you, because that's the problem. Like, the Bulls are playing 4 and 5, man.
Like, what are we talking
about? And Frankie,
about?
thanks for that information, man. Hey, I know my internet and everything cut off while Mike was giving his thoughts on Brittany Griner. Like, and I agree with him. I'm not going to get too political, and I'm not going to go the route which everyone is taking. Like, I get who we let go. I understand that. And of course, it's horrible, but the thing is, what I'm saying, when they come to your people, sometimes you got to make tough decisions. And I get what everybody's saying, but I'm just glad to see that woman home. It's tough enough to go to jail. It's another thing to go to jail in another country for something that you were just doing on your leisure time. I get the law is the law, okay? But come on, sending somebody to jail for 9 years for smoking a blunt. You know what I'm saying? I know she just had a vape, but just think about that.
Right.
We got people out here robbing, killing, stealing, pedophiles. We got all type of crazy things
Kim
going
Fox
on
will
out
let
here.
you out tomorrow.
That's all you feel. You
What
feel
happened?
me? You feel? But what I'm saying is this woman probably after a long game or a long practice went home after a hard days of work and said, I want to flame up an L. And y'all gonna send her to jail for that. And y'all really think she was justified. Oh, let her rot, let her rot, let her rot.
Right. Like
Now
this shit.
to my Navy guy out there, you know, so I just found out this story.
Right.
I kind of stay out the news a little bit because the news ain't gonna do nothing but make you
It's a
depressed and ready to jump.
it's a dark place. It's a dark place.
But you know what I'm
You know,
saying? To
I never seen on the news. You know, I never saw like, hey, a puppy smiled today, or
no, you don't see nothing like
a
that. You
kid
know what I'm
scored his
saying?
first basket. It's always 12 dead in a parking lot, and you're like, damn, Paul. Like, but no, and also to your point, Paul needs to
Yeah,
come home as well, and
yeah.
that is definitely something that I feel like not a lot of people are taking a lot of into account. Again, not to get political, but you know, a huge part of why BG was even taken in the first place, and you could say what you want. It was all a ploy about the Ukraine situation, and it was
All
just
day, all day.
all day long. But now I'm gonna ask you this, Rob, and this is
And
the
and
part
and hold on, into our military, I think his name Wayland, Paul Wayland or something
I
like
believe
that.
so,
We wish you the best, brother, and we hope you do come home. I
100%.
hope we able to find a way to get you home and any other American that's held captive. That's what people lose the message at. We not saying
Right. I know
forget the other
no one
Americans.
ever
We just
said
happen
somebody was bigger.
somebody came home.
Right.
And we happen to know Brittany Grinder because we love the world of sports. And we happy that she was able to come home. So that's all we
100%.
saying.
And I
So
also
shout out
think
to you, BG.
it also looks like something to me, you know, and I'm going to make 2 points really quick. First of all, being a woman in a communist country is one thing, but being a black woman, a part of the LGBTQ community, is totally another. Also, being damn near 7 feet tall, it's a little hard to kind of stay out of the way and stay unnoticed. So
I know. You see, they made her cut her dreads.
they made it, and she had dreads, and there was, you know, the tattoo aspect of it and the way she kind of presents herself and carries herself, which is amazing. But in a country like that, it is not safe. Which is a big part of why she cut her dreads. No one forced her to. She even said
Yeah.
like it was basically like gun to your head. Hey, you don't have to, but it's like you know you have to at the
But
end
you
of the
know
day.
we don't like that, right? You
Right.
know what I'm
But
saying?
it's something to me, Rob, and this is the point I've been making. You know, you look at not to again, trying not to get political.
I
They
get
had
it. I get
they
it.
had
Yeah.
no other reason for BG than to make a trade. Now, when I look at Paul, I look at that scenario, and I did a little bit of history myself on how they treat, you know, former vets or former military members, service members from other countries, and they
Yeah.
don't give guys like that back traditionally, and that's
Well,
the
that's
biggest
because
thing.
you got intel now.
Exactly. But
You have
here's my
intel.
thing, Rob. What did you take BG for? This Victor Boutcat. So she served his purpose.
Yeah.
The purpose of BG was we're gonna take her and we're gonna get something back. I don't know what that is just yet, but I'm gonna get something back. The
Yeah.
second they got that offer, they said, I don't got no purpose for BG. BG don't know shit about nothing. BG's been in this cell for the last 296 days. She ain't seen nothing else.
All she knows is the basketball plays that our Russian
Right.
team run.
Now Paul, who's getting accused of spying and has intel, that's a whole different conversation. I'm not saying he was. I'm just saying from their perspective, there's no purpose to have BG other than to make a trade. But for Paul, it's more so to make a statement. And I feel like that's where a lot of people don't understand the way that government works. It's fucked up. It's completely fucked up over there. And I'll go on
Nobody.
here and I'll say it. If I disappear into the night, just know we know where Mike Hughes is, Stranger Things.
Oh,
But
hey. Like I tell people all the time, man. In certain situations like that, when you have to make those type of decisions,
right,
no, everybody is not gonna be happy.
right.
I'm gonna disappoint somebody. If I tell them no and tell them we're not gonna make deal with terrorists, then people are gonna be mad at me that
They're gonna
Brittany
be like, we
didn't
don't
come
have
home.
BG or Paul. And
And
now
then
it's
I make the deal to get Brittany, and now people like, but what about Paul? And
you
the
get
crazy
Paul.
thing with
What about
people
Brittany?
is,
And it's like,
and the crazy thing with that is, Paul and Brittany ain't the only Americans over there.
mhm,
So that's my thing. I just want people to keep the same energy.
right,
If we're gonna talk about Brittany coming home and not Paul, let's talk about the fact that
right,
you screaming for Paul and you ain't screaming for Peter. You ain't screaming for John. You ain't
right,
screaming for Robert. You ain't screaming for Mike. That's
right,
what I'm looking at. Like, It's other people over there, so just keep that same energy. People need to pick and choose what they want to argue about,
Right.
man.
And that was
Sometimes
my
people just want to
biggest thing
argue for
too.
the sake of arguing, man, and that shit is stupid.
You saw me on my live talking about, and I wouldn't call her a friend, because we only had a couple interactions with each other. But I've worked with Brittany Griner. I've
Yeah.
worked with the Phoenix Mercury, and I've worked with the WNBA as a whole.
Great
Um,
work, by the way, sir.
Thanks, man. We're starting up. We're starting up in January. I'm super excited about
Yeah,
it. Sky Town is
salute to
back.
you.
Shout out to the Chicago Sky and James Wade. We're gonna have a beautiful season. Let's re-sign these free agents. But in all seriousness, why I brought that up, a lot of people look at her and think, oh, she kneels for the anthem. One, if you don't understand why she's kneeling in the first place, then you don't fucking get it. And if you don't get it, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to get political with you.
I tell people like that: if you don't know why she kneeling for the anthem, then you don't know your damn American
100%.
history.
But I tell you what, she played for Team USA. She's played for so many parts of America, and she's done amazing things for the community. And BG, in my personal experience, I can't speak for the world. I can't speak for her public record. I can't speak for her as a human being. But in my personal experiences with the Mike Hughes, the shy kid, in all seriousness, she was one of the most humblest, charismatic individuals that I've ever met in my life. And not only a wife but a friend to so many others, and a daughter to somebody, or a sibling to somebody. I don't know if she got siblings, but I imagine so. It's the fact is, I look at my brother Rob Scott to my right, and I think, if that was Rob Scott and somebody was telling me, if Rob Scott got freed from wherever the fuck, we're having a conversation.
Yeah,
Oh, what about Paul? But Rob's my guy. Like, I'm just happy Paul is home. Same
yeah,
way I was just happy BG was home. I'm just
right.
happy that someone that I work with, a coworker that I've met and I've had experiences with, who I know is a genuinely good person and did not deserve 9 years in a communist country working 16 plus hours a day eating horse shit. Like, that's what it was. And she finally got to come home, and I was just excited about that. I wasn't
Yeah,
saying happy BG's home, good luck, Paul. No one said that. And that's one of the biggest common misconceptions right now. But I
hmm
understand the frustration of so many veterans and so many people in the service who do believe there are so many service members, not even just in Russia, in other places in the world as well, who are
that
prisoners
are
right now.
prisoners right now.
And no
Yeah,
one no one speaks about that, though. They only talk about the stories. And I'll tell you
that's
what,
it. That is it. Thank you.
BG used that to her advantage, and as she
And
should,
it wasn't
because
even just BG. The people that wanted her back used it
right.
to their
But hey,
advantage.
Rob, anybody would. You can't tell me you
Yeah, I
wouldn't.
mean,
Like,
hey,
whatever you got to do to get out of there, you get out of
that's the reason that you look up and black men are getting arrested over parking tickets, but our former vice president Dick Cheney shot a man in the face and made him get on the news and apologize for it. Sorry, I stepped in front of your bullet, sir. That's all I'm saying. So, hey, not to get political, but with all due respect, y'all know what y'all can do.
there. Damian said Curry and LeBron can stay over there. Nobody
Yeah,
cares about them.
and
Damian,
Damien, let
come
me
on,
let me
Damian.
let you something. Let me let you know something, man. I know sometimes you want to be a troll, but sometimes your trolling ain't necessary, sir.
No, sir. But if Frankie said Pat Bev guarding Jaylen Brown, this should be fun to
Hey,
watch.
let me tell you something, Pat Bev. You might not want that smoke with
I
Jalen
don't think
Brown.
he
He
might.
might
I
punch
don't think so.
you.
But Frankie had one more question. I think I can pull it up still. He said basically, out of everybody, oh wait, I got it. I got it. Do you think the Bulls make trades at the deadline? And if so, who do you think they should get, and who should they trade away? Rob, can I go first, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir, can we talk about it? I think it's long overdue. I think it's a conversation that's died down, but I don't think it's changed at all. Right now, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, I don't give a fuck. Package all three of them. Give me DeAndre Ayton. That's
Yeah.
just truly how I feel about it. That's my biggest move. I understand we need 3-point shooters. I don't in my eyes right now, I haven't really looked deep into it. I don't really see anybody who's on the trade block that's a 3-point shooter. They are not a dime a dozen. They are guys. Obviously, there's a lot of them, but really legitimate 3-point shooters we're not getting for Kobe White and Patrick
No,
Williams. So I'm
no.
looking at DeAndre Ayton, who's already disgruntled, who's already upset, didn't even want to sign the extension he did. Can't get traded until I believe January 15th. But I definitely do see DeAndre Ayton's future in a Chicago Bulls uniform. Only under 25 years old. I mean, that's you got Lonzo, Ayo, Zach, Ayton, Patrick Williams, a couple other cats, Dalen Terry, who I saw play fucking basketball for the first time in forever. Um, I mean, it's a nice little young core you got right there. I think that changes everything because Vooch is an expiring deal. Kobe's an expiring deal. I think right now you flip that for a guy, and obviously the Suns are getting an all-star center, and they're getting a guy like Kobe White off the bench you could spark up with another guy like Cam Johnson and Cameron Payne, which I can't believe I'm even saying is still in the league. Because let's talk about Bulls, baby. Cameron Payne Bulls was ugly. It was awful. But Rob, who you got? Who's a big name free agent that you could? Not even a big name, just a name that you could see the Bulls realistically making.
I'm not even gonna name a free agent. I'm gonna name a possible trade, and
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean
I
free
think
agent.
I think the Bulls can kind of make this happen. I don't. It depends on how stupid this other team is, but maybe they might go for it. But with the contract Zach Levine has had, and he has had some All Star appearances, he's not been totally bad this year. We're talking about a team that feels like maybe they're a star away from getting to where they want to go. Maybe we look at our neighbors in the Central Division, and we go to Indiana and we say, hey, we got Zach for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield.
Mm.
Um, I
Mm-mm.
think Indiana is trying to find a good deal for Buddy Hield because
Mm-hmm.
they keep teeter tottering that idea about the Russell Westbrook thing, and
Right.
or they're trying to get something from the Lakers if they can. And Miles Turner doesn't want to be in Indiana anymore.
Hell no. Hey, you think Jalen Brown's tweets are interesting? Miles Turner's Twitter. If you ain't following Miles Turner on Twitter, oh my God, that man's vicious.
So either I'm looking to try to see if I can get rid of Zach Levine's contract, or I hate to say it, and I never thought I would agree with Damian in my life. I'm not going that far with the Lonzo thing because I still want to see if the Lonzo experiment can work. But I might look to see if I put DeMar's name out there, what kind of offers would I get? Now I don't know offhand, and I'm not taking anything because if I can keep DeMar and try to rebuild at least with a savvy veteran on my team, because DeMar is still a young guy in terms of NBA years, but he is a veteran now. And he's had a lot of road miles on that body because he's been a perennial playoff guy. So I, I'm gonna explore first. If I can put Zach out there and get rid of this guaranteed contract, because I think he's getting like it's like 215. I always say 230, but it's like 215
About
million. I
yeah.
believe like 49 of it is guaranteed. So
I got another one for you though.
I might put Zach out there and
I
see what I
think
can get.
depending on the situation. Right now
Yeah,
they're 9 out of their last 10, but they started the season 9-10.
yeah.
An interesting one to me, and a team that does not have draft capital and a team that needs to continue to get younger. If I could flip potentially by this time healthy Lonzo Ball for a
Mhm.
Kyrie Irving,
Mhm.
I'm fully intrigued. I'm ready for it. I think a healthy Kyrie Irving, Zach Levine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, I think that's a squad. That's a squad to me in my eyes. And I think that's definitely something I think we should be interested in doing. I think that's something that I would be interested in setting up. Kyrie Irving with the 3-point shot. You obviously have Zach Levine, who's a 3-point shooter.
I won't lie to you. They're not. Zach Levine might have to be the one that they trade.
I
I'm
think,
not giving up Lonzo. I'm not giving up Kyrie for no damn Lonzo.
I don't know.
I'm not doing it. Now, contract wise, it makes sense.
I
I
think,
think they're
but
both getting like
when you put
they're
the
not getting
Kyrie
superstars.
situation, when you put the Kyrie situation into that
Yeah.
understanding, you're getting a 23-year-old point guard who's one of the best pure point guards in the
You
game
got a
that we
point
face.
guard. You got Ben Simmons.
Say that
Hey,
again. Say that
I
again.
get what you're saying, but Ben Simmons has
No,
played
Ben
more
been hooping.
than
Ben been
Lonzo.
hooping. 100%. But I just think it's an interesting conversation though. Like, what is Kyrie's actual worth at this moment? Because we know what KD's is.
they
We
gonna
know
they
what
gonna they
KD is
gonna
not
want
touchable.
they gonna want Zach. I'm telling you.
I think they might, but I mean that's just
I need
fuck it.
Zach. I need some type of all-star compensation to get rid of Kyrie. Now, don't
100%.
get me wrong. I'm looking to get rid of Kyrie if I can. Kyrie has put us through hell. So if I can get rid of this guy, I can get rid of this guy. But for Lonzo, kiss my ass. If I'm Brooklyn, I'm telling Chicago that right now. Kiss my ass. Like for
Look at this
Lonzo,
guy. Look at this guy. Flat Earth Kyrie Irving. What the hell, Mike?
yeah, I'll
What
take
you
Kyrie right now.
smoking?
I'll put Kyrie with DeMar and go to work.
Damian
Go to
says
work.
trade Pat, Lonzo, Kobe, and DeMar. At
Yeah,
that point, Damian, we're gonna have tryouts at the United
right,
Center on Madison
right.
Street. We ain't got nobody else. So, but with that being said, it's been another beautiful episode. This episode, we really didn't talk about much because there
No,
really
we
isn't
talked
much
about
to talk
everything
about.
though.
We talked about but it was honestly my favorite episode so far.
Me too.
It was definitely a conversation we needed to have though. We needed to just kind of have a chilled time. We talk about the last 5 episodes because I was gone for a little bit. But
And I've been gone.
hey, but Rob, it's okay because
been.
all the problems we had in week 1, we still got, and we didn't solve a single one of them. So I mean, it's fine. We consistently this season, I feel like we have talked about the same thing every episode,
For
which
sure.
so different from last season because there was the DMVP, the DeMar DeChosen, there was the COVID stuff, there was the Lonzo stuff, there was the playoffs, the All-Stars. There was so many.
So long ago.
Io DeSumo emerging as a starting point guard. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. And then this season,
it's like
I don't even.
That's
fuck. Like
what's the word these kids using these days? Man,
how
you feel today, man?
Yeah, it's all right. I guess. Like, it is what it is. But this has been another episode of Bullsheet. Rob Scott, stay for 5 seconds after the intro goes out.
Got you.
I gotta ask you a question.
Yes, Lord.
It's a serious question.
Yes, Lord.
But with that being said, this is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic. You can follow me on TikTok or anywhere else at theshy.kid. Rob Scott of Rob's 2 Cents, one of the most amazing.
It's coming back. Rob's 2 Cents will be back 2023, January 2023. I'm giving y'all definite dates. Giving you definitive dates. I'm about to get my StreamYard access. It's about to go down. I'm about to be going live everywhere.
Why don't you just use ASAPs? But never.
Well, I'm not. I like to control things. But but you put your time in with ASAP.
Chicago.
Not saying
you ain't gonna say
saying
no.
I ain't put my time in with ASAP, but not to the extent that Mike Hughes has put in.
Do not say that, sir. You are amazing at what you do, and I would not be Mike Hughes without Rob Scott.
I'm telling y'all, Rob's 2 Cents coming back. It's a lot I got to talk about. I got to talk about the haters. I was talking about Coach Prime and what he's been doing, and it's a lot. Oh, don't worry. Tune in. Rob's 2 Cents is back. And Mike, I need you to be a guest on my show, bro.
Oh, you know I'm there.
I need you to be a guest on my show. But you know what, man? Bullsheet has so it's just refueled me, bro. My love for podcasting, bro.
100%,
having an amazing partner like you, man. We getting close to the holidays, to that time where you reflect, and I'm reflecting right now, and I'm like, man, thank God I met Mike Hughes, man. You've been a true brother, bro, and we've gained a relationship, bro, and I'm riding with you 10 toes down, man. So yes, sir, baby, we in this joint.
Rob, I'm gonna talk to you in 30 seconds.
I'm here. I ain't going nowhere.
This is Mike Hughes and Rob Scott from the ASAP Network, the All Sports All Plays Network. Who's got the final word? I see it right here.
He said, thinking on Scarface, baby. Hey, I never seen a man cry till I seen a man die. Hey, don't get me started.
Hey, yo. With that being said, shout out to Al Pacino, 39 years with Scarface. I mean, that is insane. Until next time, this is Mike Hughes and Rob Scott. This is Bullsheet. We out.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.